and welcome to another episode of All About Cars, but this time we're doing it a little different. We're going to be talking about all the new cars of 2021 and we start with the SUVs. But don't worry, we will be answering all your questions that you've sent us, and that will happen in one of the later shows. So don't stop sending in your questions, keep sending it to us. So let's begin with SUVs. This one's been very high in the waiting list and people are really anticipating it a lot. It's the Maruti Suzuki Jimny.
Yes, so I think it's a car definitely worth looking forward to. Exports have started, that means the car is being produced in India but exported. This is the 3-door version, a 1.5 litre, and I think we'd probably get the 5-door when it comes. It would be a more practical option, but you never know. I mean, we've seen how the Thar has done. That's also, in my book at least, a pricey proposition, but a lifestyleish proposition, which is exactly what the Jimny is going to be too. So, yeah, I mean, off-roading fans, young people, young at heart, want something quirky to look at and to drive in the city, good size. I think the Jimny, but I guess pricing will be something.
You think they'll undercut the Thar?
I think they would have to, right? I mean, it's a much smaller car, it's got a smaller engine. If they have any serious intention of selling, they would have to undercut the Thar.
So my point is, even the Thar, we think it was a little more pricey than we expected. So considering even though it's pricey, it's still selling. You think Maruti will think that, yeah, I mean, you know, that car sells and people want something of this size?
Well, it's finally down to, I think, we've not seen a really pricey Maruti in a while. I think that I don't think should change with the Jimny. Thar has a very strong cult following, and I don't know, maybe Maruti will get swayed and say, yes, if Mahindra can do it, why can't we? I don't know. But let's hope it's priced well, so all those people who couldn't afford the Thar can now look at the Jimny and say at least there's another toy for them to play with.
So again, a lot of speculations here, and we don't have a fixed launch date, but we think it should be here by the end of this year.
Yeah, later part of the year would probably make more sense, festive season thereabouts.
Right. All right, let's move on to our next car, and finally it's not a Maruti, it's a Skoda. This is the Skoda Kushaq, that's how they say it?
I'm not so sure, but I guess it means king. That's what they're going for. Yeah. Basically,
the vision iron that we've been spotting all this while. So it is the Kushaq, and again, it'll take on the Hyundai Creta and the Kia Seltos.
Yes, I think that's where the positioning is going to be. In terms of size, it will be smaller. And I don't know, I mean, so far from what we've seen the VW group do, I have a feeling that they might not be able to match the Creta and the Seltos in terms of features, you know, the price value feature. They would continue to focus on safety and driving dynamics, which we know the Volkswagen group cars are good at, right? So, I don't know, I mean, pricing will be key. From what I hear, it'll have aggressive pricing, something that we've not seen from the VW group, given it's completely an Indian dedicated sort of thing, MQB, IN, India specific A0 platform. So, I don't know, I mean, if it undercuts the Creta and the Seltos, good chance. But otherwise, I think
but highly unlikely.
Yeah, highly unlikely. And I think from what I gather is that they're not really looking for or looking at expanding dealerships. So I guess they'll have a conservative number in mind to do, and so they might price it a little more than we would think.
Few more details about the car. It'll either have the 1 litre TSI or the 1.5 litre TSI.
I think it'll probably get both. The 1 litre TSI is made in India. It's already there in the Polo and the Vento. The 1.5 is the imported one. The one that we've seen on the T-Roc. So I think it'll get both.
So multiple gearbox options.
Totally.
You get the torque converter, you get the manual, and of course you get the 7-speed DSG. So the official unveil for the Kushaq is in March. So stay tuned again to the CarWale website. Lots of information coming up about it. Alright, we move on to our next SUV. It's the Volkswagen Taigun. So the smallest of the lot. A lot of speculation about it. A lot of people are waiting. So what do you think about the Taigun?
So firstly, this is the twin, like not a identical twin of course, but it's the same car, the Skoda Kushaq. with a VW badge, different body panels, of course, different top hat altogether, but same drivetrain, same platform, all of that same, it will be identical. There would be some, as Skoda says, simply clever options on the Kushaq, but with the Tiguan, Taigun, sorry, very similar names. With the Taigun, I think VW is going for a more premium feel. That's what they're looking at, but it is a make or break car for Volkswagen. So like we discussed the pricing on the Skoda, I think the pricing here also might not be as attractive as we think, because again, VW isn't going for a huge, they're not expanding their dealership, so clearly they're not really looking at...
So what bracket are we looking at? Between 11 to 16 lakhs or a little more?
I think exactly, I think where the Creta and the Seltos sits, thereabouts, but of course it'll be a smaller car.
And we expect the launch to be around mid 2021. We've already seen the car. There's plenty of details about the Taigun on the CarWale website, so you can have a look.
Yeah, it'll follow the Kushaq. Kushaq comes first, then the Taigun. Yeah.
All right. We move on to our next SUV. Now this one has been a long time favorite at CarWale again.
And this one's the Tiguan.
Yes, this one's the Tiguan. Tiguan, that's right. So again, the Tiguan, it came in as a 5-seater. And now it's only available as a 7-seater, and now we're getting the 5-seater back.
Yeah, so I think VW's SUVW is their strategy for this year as well. They've already showcased and told us the 3 cars that they're going to bring back. The T-Roc will come back, the all-space Tiguan will come back again as CBUs, and this of course will be the 4th along with the Taigun. This they will continue to make or assemble in India, and the thing that happened with the Tiguan earlier is that the reason why it didn't sell is because it was a small car or small SUV, came at a huge price, and you had the likes of the Fortuner,
the Audi Q3,
all of that,
pretty close to it.
So in terms of badging also, it was towards the premium side. It had to deal with that in terms of size. It had Fortuners and Endeavours. I don't think that's going to change. I think pricing is still going to be a
33.
Yeah, a little steep thereabouts, and it'll have a new competitor, which is the Citroen, which we'll talk about a little later. So, but yeah, petrol only, no diesel this time, and an automatic, no manual.
Right. And we expect the launch to be somewhere around June. So, All right, let's move on to the next SUV, and this one's a Skoda again. It's the Skoda Kodiaq Petrol.
Right, no diesels from the VW group in terms of imports this year. Yeah.
So it'll basically have the same engine as the Tiguan.
I would think so, yeah. The 2-liter,
2-liter petrol.
same as the all-space, similar price bracket as the all-space. But I think it would be assembled here, not an import like the Tiguan all-space is.
Right. All right, let's move on to our Desi SUVs now. Talking about the next Desi one, it's the Mahindra XUV500.
Yes, all new car, again a monocoque, built in collaboration with Ford. Of course, the deal is off now, but I think whatever they developed at that time, they're going to continue.
Right. So we expect better dynamics this time.
I don't know. I'm sure compared to the older car, we'll see better dynamics. But I think all the dynamic work, we'd probably see the real good dynamics on the Ford version of the XUV500. But yeah, I think the value proposition would continue. That's what made the XUV500 a great buy last time around. Lots of equipment, lots of electronics, 7 seats, and like really out there sort of styling. I think that styling Mahindra would probably continue to do to attract all the eyeballs.
So it will be an all-new car, but it will retain a few old styling cues like the kink at the rear and stuff.
I would think so, I guess.
Just to retain identity.
Yeah, makes it easier to associate. So it should be an interesting car to look forward to. It's a busy segment now where the XUV500, the new one, will come in. You've got the Hector Plus with 7-seat and 6-seat options. You will probably have something from Jeep in that class eventually.
Yes, the 7-seater.
You'd have something from Tata in that class. So lots of options. And of course, you've always got the Innova, which lingers in that segment. If you're going to pay that sort of price, you want a proper people carrier, Innovas are hard think.
Again, the engine wise, it's going to get that 2.2 liter diesel, and we're expecting a petrol as well.
Same from the Thar, I guess.
Yes.
And it's a lovely engine that Mahindra's done a wonderful job with that petrol engine. If that comes in the XUV, I think it should be a nice, fun car to drive.
Right. So again, it's going to be primarily a front wheel drive, but of course you have the all wheel drive variant for the XUV as well.
Yeah, I guess we've seen that in the current generation. No reason why they should not continue.
Right.
Yeah. Even though the demand is very, very little.
Let's move on to our next SUV again. This is the Mahindra Scorpio. Again, finally a whole new generation of the Scorpio.
Yeah.
And basically we've just seen updates with the Scorpio till now.
Yeah, I guess there was one in between. I think this one, unlike the XUV, will be a body on ladder.
Yes.
So I think the changes that we'll see is how they redo the ladder frame. Right. Of course, the top hat also they'll have something on it.
I believe the last one with the hydrofoam chassis.
Correct. That was the next big
change.
step. Right. Absolutely.
Right.
So I think given the focus that Mahindra is showing towards safety. So we'll see that sort of thing come into the top hat and the ladder platform. We're expecting better braking, better dynamics, and a lighter car. And hopefully 4x4 will continue, which should give it an edge because there's nobody else in that class that's willing to offer that sort of price.
That's right. And we expect it to be launched after the XUV500. That's in probably the second quarter of 2021.
And it should be more expensive than the current car.
Right, let's move on to another known nameplate, and this is the Tata it's the new Tata Safari.
Legendary name, but a little disappointing from what we've seen what it's going to be. So what? It's the Harrier with a little raised roof and 2 extra seats at the back. Front wheel drive, no reclaim your life, 4-wheel drive option.
And you can't make your own road now.
Yeah, now you just, it's more like an urban SUV now, which is, I think, a little sad given that it was such a strong brand name.
Right.
But Tata says nobody wanted the 4x4 Safari, and having a body on ladder just made it heavy, less fuel efficient.
Right.
And so I guess they feel that this is what it needs to be. This is how the new Safari needs to translate into.
It's just gone ahead. They've just gone ahead and given it a whole new character, like totally taken the old one away.
Yeah, it's like how I think Land Rovers and Range Rovers have progressed. So you come into monocoque, but there's still all-wheel drive and go anywhere SUVs. This with its front-wheel drive option would just be your road
And the launch is just around the corner.
Yeah, I think we should be driving that car this week or next, and we will have a review for you, I guess, then. And though Tata Motors said that the platform, of course, it's borrowed from Land Rover. So it can have 4-wheel drive, and they can also choose to have 4-wheel drive by adding electrification to the rear axle. But we all know that's not going to happen. It's expensive, and given there's no demand, I guess it's always going to be a 2-wheel drive, at least in this form.
So that's the new Safari for you. All right, let's move on to the next car, and again, the launch is right around the corner. It's on 27 January. It's the new Jeep Compass Facelift.
Right, it's long time coming, I guess.
Yes. I mean, the Jeep Compass hasn't really seen any revisions since its launch, and this probably is the first big one. Again, on the exteriors, minor changes with the headlights, a few tweaks on the bumper, but of course the interiors have been done up quite well. There's the new 10.10 inch, is it?
I'm not aware, but the thing is that big touchscreen systems is
10.1 inch touchscreen system
is the big thing, and
engine options are the same, but yeah.
So I hope I haven't. I mean, we've not driven the car. We will probably drive it soon, but we hope that the refinement levels are a little better now, especially for the diesel. If it's the same drivetrains that are coming, we've already seen the pictures of the car outside and inside. Insides look much nicer now than they did, and clearly they're not playing the price card here. So they want, I mean, it goes up against the Hector. It will probably go up against the more expensive Creta when it comes. But people who like driving should, I think it's a good car to wait for. Again, front wheel drive.
Yes.
With the 4x4 as an option maybe.
Then you have the Trailhawk, which
So the Trailhawk would also come in this version?
We expect once they update the Compass, the Trailhawk will receive the same changes.
So I think Trailhawk again didn't really take off. Once they launched the 4x4 diesel automatic, then I think people shifted to that instead of sticking with the Trailhawk. But Compass is a good car. I think it's a little expensive for what it is, given the size, etc. But in terms of driving, in terms of quality, we've not really had a problem, right? It's a good option.
Right.
So and now it's updated. So let's see what the pricing is like, and it will continue to be a good buy though.
Right. And we're going to be driving it soon. So again, stay tuned for that. All right. Next car is the Mercedes-Benz GLA. Now, the earlier car, it was a little too much of a crossover. It looked too much like a hatchback.
On stilts.
On stilts.
Absolutely, yeah.
But if you saw the new one, they've made it taller, it's wider, so it looks more SUV-ish.
Yeah,
so,
and I hear they've improved the ride quality also, because the earlier car was really stiff and uncomfortable.
Right.
I think they're making that change. It should work well on our roads, and it would definitely be a better GLA. Right, from what we've seen.
Definitely.
So if you like the GLA, I think you would love the new one, is what we hear. We haven't driven it, of course, but significant improvements.
Yeah.
New generation.
New generation change.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
always worth looking forward to.
And it should be here about March, April, so it's not too far away.
And expected prices, I think you will see scrolling somewhere here, there, or
it's about 40 odd lakhs. Starts at 40 odd lakhs. So
yeah. So luxury cars have become expensive.
Our next SUV, another one which is just around the corner. It's on the unveil is due on the 28th of Jan, and it's the Renault Kiger.
Right. So I think Renault's been putting out some really interesting cars out, especially in the affordable segment. This is also sub 4 meter SUV.
Yes.
And
of course, based on the Nissan Magnite.
Yeah, and the Magnite itself, such strong demand for what it is given the pricing. So I think Kiger would probably be more expensive.
Slightly more expensive.
But I guess it'll have styling in its on its side.
Yes.
It'll probably have different sort of equipment.
Right.
But it's a good platform, right? The Magnite.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a fantastic base. Renault Nissan Alliance really flexing its muscles here.
Yeah.
You already have the Magnite, which is doing so well, and people already know that it's a very capable car. Right. And the Kiger is just going to take that further.
Yeah.
With a brilliant 1-liter turbo engine with the CVT gearbox.
That's the one you should go for. Right. There will be a naturally aspirated 1-liter, and there'll be a turbo. Turbo is the one to go for. And like in the Magnite, our pick is definitely the 1-liter CVT. I think because it's just the right sort of drivetrain for a city SUV.
Right.
The Kiger is going to get the same, and that would probably be the best option to go for there too.
So unveil on the 28th, a lot of information coming up. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Right, our next SUV is another premium one. It's the new Citroen C5 Aircross.
So Citroen makes its entry into India. I think it'll come with the C5 Aircross now.
Yes.
I'm not a car that's going to sell in great numbers, given it's what, 30 lakhs thereabouts?
30 plus lakhs. So top-down approach just to make their brand more visible. Yeah.
And diesel, petrol, both, or just the 2-liter diesel?
So last time we saw the car, they announced it in diesel only with the 8-speed automatic. But since we have a sudden splurge of petrol engines, maybe they could get a petrol later.
So they've got what, a 1.2 and a 1.5
turbocharged,
right?
Yes.
And of course, following the C-Cross C5 Aircross, we will see the C-Cubed versions, the 3 cars that are going to be built on the India-specific platform. First of which I think should also come this year, and it's expected to be an SUV too.
Yes.
But more details on that later.
So we'll be driving this car next month, and we expect the launch to be around March or April. Yeah. So that's...
And it should also bring in a new dealership concept called La Maison, which is like the home concept. And it's supposed to be small dealerships with just one car, but lots of digital inputs inside, so you can get a better experience of the car, and accessories, etc. all listed. But we'll also know more about that this week. So I think some French quirkiness we should see with Citroen.
And they say that it's going to be extremely comfortable.
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing with Citroen's comfort. Right.
All right, moving on to the next car, it's the new Isuzu MU-X. Now, they're big, burly SUV.
Yes.
However, they stopped production with the BS6 norms coming in.
Right.
Now they haven't bought in the BS6 variant, but we've already seen the new MU-X unveiled in Thailand.
Right.
So it's a lot more modern. It's based on the latest generation D-Max pickup. So better interiors, something to take on the Fortuner and the Endeavour. 2 engine options, the 1.9 litre diesel and the 3 litre diesel. Of course, the all-wheel drive will be available in the 3 litre engine itself, but it's going to be a huge step up from the current MU-X. So hopefully some good competition for the Endeavour and the Fortuner.
Agreed, but it's not a car that's really, I don't know, I mean, it's not got our fancy, it's not got the fancy of Indians. I think it's in a market where you've got strong competitors like the Endeavour and the Fortuner, so you need to be something really special.
Right.
And let's see how that goes if and when they bring the BS6 MU-X to India.
Right. All right, moving on to the next car, it's the MG ZS Petrol. But now that's already here, but it's an electric form. So.
Yeah. And petrol should be, I think, a good thing to look forward to, because the MG ZS otherwise is a good car. I mean, it's got space, it's good on quality, it drives well, and with petrol it should be a lot more affordable.
Right.
So I mean, its styling is here and there. It doesn't seem extremely modern. It doesn't really go with the rest of the MG lineup in India, but it's a capable car, 5-seater. Goes up against what? It'll be
against the Creta and the Seltos.
Oh, so I think significant decrease in price, and should make for a good value proposition given its size and the way it is. Yeah.
I mean, considering the number of test mules spotted, launch should be just around the corner, and we're expecting it to get either the 1.5 litre naturally aspirated petrol, or there's also 1.3 litre direct injection engine. So could have either of those.
So I think pricing, they'll play the price card well, they'll play the feature card well, something that we've seen with the Gloster, with the Hector. So MG is good at playing the value card, especially when it comes to price feature equation. So something to look forward to, certainly.
All right, let's move on to another premium luxury SUV. It's the Audi Q7 Facelift. I think we were just talking about the first gen Q7 a little while ago.
Yeah, we were.
Very aggressive design, huge, bulky looks, and it really took off, the first generation.
And I think it set Audi's game plan for India. Every celebrity worth their salt wanted one. It had, I mean, it was the SUV to have, right? But what, over the years it's tapered down.
Second gen subtle, and it just lost that character that the first gen had.
True.
And again now the facelift promises to go back to the first Audi Q7's look.
So more bulk.
More bulk, and basically the whole car remains the same since it's a facelift, but they've made the front to look more like the Q8, which looks fantastic.
Oh yes, Q8, I think Q8, SQ8, great looking cars, very aggressive, very in your face. So I think that's what the Q7 needs, and if that happens with the facelift, it'll be, maybe it'll find a fresh set of customers.
Right. So we expect it to come with the V6 petrol first, and it'll have the mild hybrid system in it as well.
So no diesels again.
Diesel, I guess, would come in probably a little later.
Okay, because right now VW Group seems to be staying away from diesels. Okay.
And we expect the launch to be somewhere around mid 2021, because the car has already been unveiled. It's been, I mean, we've been waiting for the launch, but I think it was just delayed because of the pandemic.
And CKD operations.
Yes.
Straight out of Aurangabad.
Another car which has been around for quite a while in the international markets, but we're still awaiting, is the new Audi Q3.
I think a car that Audi desperately needs, especially after the debacle that was the Q2. I mean, in terms of pricing and equipment, what it was, and the styling, etc. I think it fell short of expectations hugely. And I think they need something to revive, at least at the bottom end of the market. The Q2 didn't do that. The Q3 should be able to do it. I think it should have come, what, a year, 2 years back. It's been a while. But
in fact, I think by the time they decide to launch it, it'll be time for the facelift.
Again.
So it's probably they're just waiting for the facelift to happen, and they might bring it with the facelift. MQB platform. It looks pretty aggressive with that sharp front and the LED headlights. So it should be a a good car to look at.
So another slow year then for Audi because
like it.
numbers, I mean, they've launched the new A4.
Right.
It's well priced. It's a step up from what the car was, again a facelift. And I think if the Q3 comes this year, and it should, then it could move the game up for Audi, which it desperately needs.
Right. Let's move on to the next SUV. It's the Tata HBX, or the Hornbill.
So sub
mini
4 meter
SUV.
SUV.
That's right. Really mini, the compact one. And we guess it'll be more like a Chotu Harrier from what we look at the spy shots. The front design pretty much similar.
So I guess it's not going to be as aggressive and as butch as it was, as the concept was at the Auto Expo.
No, I guess it'll be far from that.
Yeah, but at that time, Tata Motor officials told us that it's very close to production. Of course, the big wheels and the extra drama bits on the sides will not remain, but the body or the paneling work would essentially be the same.
Right.
And I guess that whole stance comes with those large wheels and flat tires. You keep the same body, but you go down on tire sizes and make it more regular. Yeah, and then it just seems to lose some of that.
Looks like somebody skipped leg days.
Yeah, but I think it should be given from what we've seen what the Tiago is like and what we've seen the Altroz is like. This should also be another car to look forward to.
Right. Same Alpha platform.
Yes.
Same engines from the Altroz. We take it 1.2 litre naturally aspirated and the 1.2 litre turbocharged engine. And we expect pricing to be between 5 to 7 lakhs.
So that goes up against, it should be closer competitor to the Magnites and the Tigers.
That's right. The Ignis.
Oh, the Ignis, right.
Right. So we expect launch to be around April 2021.
That's right around the corner.
Yes.
So yeah, so something to wait for then.
Let's move on to our next SUV. It's the Jeep 7-seater SUV. Now we don't know what it's going to be called, so we'll just stick with Jeep 7-seater.
But it is going to be based on the Compass.
Yes.
Right. So we should expect the similar diesel engine. We should expect almost similar styling.
That's right.
But we should expect what? 2 seats at the back.
2 more seats at the back, a few more horses, a little more torque.
Right, and the possibility of a better petrol engine, maybe the 1.3 direct injection turbo that they have.
Right.
And it will go up against the
big boys,
which is the Endeavour and the Fortuner. Big challenge to beat those guys in their game. But let's see, because pricing will not be.
It's not going to be cheap because the Compass isn't cheap, and the 7-seat, the added luxury, and that's going to bump the price up quite a bit.
Right, so an okay car to look forward to, I guess. Not something that people who want big burly 7-seaters, off-road centric cars would look at, but I guess it'll have refinement in its favor.
Right. Another 7-seater. This is the Hyundai Creta 7-seater that's been announced. So when do we expect it? What do you expect from the Creta?
I think it should be out in April. And the drivetrain options would be similar. Pricing would be a little bumped up. And I think Creta overall is a very comfort-oriented car compared to, let's say, the Seltos, for instance. And I think that would continue. It may have a different name. I don't know. Or maybe Hyundai would say that they'd want to, stick with the Creta name and grow it. But Hyundai's done new names all the time, and it's worked for them. So. But it should be a car worth looking forward to. We'll go up against the likes of the Hector.
Right.
And but the last 2 seats would be an excuse for seats rather than
like the Hector.
Yeah. So don't expect it to be like a full-fledged 7-seater, more like a 5+2.
Right.
In case of emergency, put 2 people at the back for them to hate you. But that's about it.
Do you think any changes? Do we expect any changes in the engine? More horsepower?
I think I wouldn't think so. I think it would continue to have the current drivetrains. And that's a wrap on All About Cars this week. Now I know that we've only covered SUVs, and it's not like the Indian market is only going to see SUVs 2021. We're also going to see hatchback sedans and electric vehicles, but that is we're going to talk about that next week. So come back for that for sure. And thank you so much for watching.